Hello students, welcome back to my channel again. Today we are going to learn probability chapters, some of the points, and this is the sixth session of the probability chapter, but this session is actually in class 12. So today onwards we are going to start probability chapter of class 12. And in this chapter, what topics we are going to cover? So the list is this one: conditional probability, multiplication theorem on probability, independent events, Bayes theorem, theorem of total probability, random variable and its probability distribution, mean and variance of a random variable, Bernoulli's trials and binomial distribution. But Bernoulli's trials are not in your syllabus now. So only binomial distribution. Except this, everything is there in your syllabus. So today we will be doing some of the first topics, that is conditional probability. So let's start with conditional probability. Conditional probability, before we start it, means its definition, we just want to tell you one example. Like 3 coins are tossed, and you all know this will be the sample space having 8 sample points. Now, let E be an event that at least 2 heads appear, and A be the event where first coin shows tail. According to these two descriptions of events, we have constructed the sets of events. Now E will have this because we need to have minimum 2 at least 2 heads appear, and F is the first coin shows tail. That means whatever we are taking, the first one must be T. So according to these two descriptions, we have got 4 sample points in each of the events set. Now P of E will be 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8. Means P of E is actually this one. In class 11th chapter you have done this axiomatic approach where P of all equally likely outcomes will be same. That means 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 is 4 by 8, that is equals to half. Similarly, P of A is also half. Now, E intersection F is equals to THH because we have got the common element here. THH is the common element. So, P of E intersection F, one element is there, that means it's 1 by 8. Now, I have written over here one particular problem. Suppose, and this is the main problem, we are given that F occurs. That means what? That means first coin already showed tail. Then what is the probability of occurrence of the event E? That means after F, once F is occurred, then you are finding the probability of E or the chances of occurrence of E. E means what? At least 2 heads appear. I am just making it more simpler. F occurs means we have got this THH, THT, TTH, TTT. Now, after F, we will be thinking inside F, which sample point satisfies the condition or description of E. I am repeating it again. As F is occurred first, so We will first look at F's set. So there are 4 points: THH, THT, TTH and TTT. Now we will find out a sample point from F, whatever is suitable for the description of E. That means at least 2 heads appear. So 2 heads we will find out from F. Which one it is? It is THH. Okay? And that one I have written over here. First we have to take THH. This means F's set. Now we have to choose the element related to E, and that is THH. So from here we can say that probability of E in this case probability of E will be 1 by 4. Why 1 by 4? One element. You must be thinking that why not 1 by 8? But this is not a normal event that we are taking. This event E is taken after F's occurrence. That's why for this particular event, F will be the sample space. And for that reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, that means 4 numbers are there in the sample space F. So the probability will be 1 by 4. That means P of E given that F has occurred equals to 1 by 4. Now this particular thing is that probability of E when F has occurred, that means there is a condition of F applied on E. E is not alone here. F is conditioned on E. That's why we will be telling it that this one is called the conditional probability of E given that F has already occurred and is denoted by P of E on F. That means F has already occurred. E must be, means probability of E must be calculated depending on F's occurrence. P of E on F. Now this therefore P of E on F will be 1 by 4. This P of E can't be written alone. It must be E on F. That is equals to 1 by 4. Now, this THH is E intersection F. That is, we can write down that P of E on F equals to one element. So 1 by 4 it was. That means N of E intersection F, that is equals to 1. This one was 1 by 4. So N of E intersection F equals to 1 and N of F equals to 4. So this can be written. Now P of E on F, we are keeping it as it is, and the right hand side, the numerator and denominator both we are dividing by N of S like this. Okay. So the numerator comes as P of E intersection F and the denominator comes as P of F, because look at this, N of number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes equals to probability of E intersection F, and number of favorable divided by number of possible equals to probability of F. Now here probability of F can't be 0, that means F can't be 5, that means F can't be empty, so F will be non-empty event. Okay. Coming to properties of conditional probability. Number one property, that is P of S on F equals to P of F on F equals to 1. What will be its proof? It's very simple. Just to put the formula. P of S on F, that means P of S intersection F divided by P of F, like this formula. P of F not equals to 0. S means the whole sample space. F is one of the subset of S, that means their intersection will be F itself. So P of F divided by P of F equals to 1. Now P of F on F equals to P of F intersection F divided by P of F, that is equals to P of F divided by P of F, that is equals to 1. So both are equals to 1 and we have proved the property number 1 for conditional probability. Now coming to property number 2. Property number 2 is if A and B are any two events of a sample space S and F is an event of sample space S such that P of F not equals to 0, then P of A union B on F equals to P of A on F plus P of B on F minus P of A intersection B on F. Nothing new. You can actually understand or you can actually recall the memory of this particular formula except the on F part. Then this is the same formula, P of A union B equals to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Just for conditional probability you need to add on this conditioned part. Rest of the things are same. And this is also if A and B are disjoint sets, that means their intersection will be phi, then P of A union B on F equals to P of A on F plus P of B on F. Now this is the second property of conditional probability. Now coming to its proof. So the proof is very simple. Just to apply the conditional probabilities formula, P of A union B on F equals to, this is, you have to take this one as the whole set, that means P of A union B intersection F divided by P of F. Now this one can be broken into these two sets, De Moivre's theorem of sets theory. Now these two are two different sets, so we can write like this. P of F, the denominator I have actually individualized into different fractions. So the upper part we can write P of A union B, suppose. We can write P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So I have written that. Now this part is actually P of A intersection B intersection F, because F is 2 times taken with intersection. No need to take 2 times, so it is enough to take 1 time. So for this we are getting, this is the formula of P of A on F, this is the formula of P of B on F, and this is the formula P of A intersection B on F. And that's our first part of second property. Coming to the second part. If A intersection B equals to phi, that means P of A intersection B will be 0. So this one will be 0. P of A intersection B will be 0. So that will be 0. Now if this part comes as 0, then what we are getting? We are getting P of A union B on F equals to P of A on F plus P of B on F, which is the second part. Okay? And this is the last property, that means third property. Third property tells that P of E prime on F equals to 1 minus P of E on F. How can we prove it? It's very simple again. P of S on F equals to 1. This we have just done in property number 1. So we are using property number 1 to prove property number 3. Now S means the universal sample space. So that can be written as E union E prime. Now this E union E prime, these two are actually disjoint sets. So we can apply property number 2's second part here. And we will be getting P of E on F plus P of E dash on F, that is equals to 1. We need only this P of E prime on F, that is equals to 1 minus P of E on F. Now this is all about this session. Now depending on the properties and the definitions and the topic we have discussed up to now, there is an exercise 13.1. So the whole exercise 13.1 will be your homework. This is all about today's session. I hope you all have understood it. Thank you everybody.